I was 6 years old when I started eTreasure, and I never could have imagined that it would grow into what it has become today. And I'm so proud of 6-year-old me for having a passion and letting my gears shift, start something super awesome that turned into my passion that will have changed my life forever. Through eTreasure, I've started a school leaders program where kids across the country can now start drives at their school and be a part of eTreasure. We were able to donate devices to them so the kids in these centers could be able to have access to education online, being able to use the Read Charitable Foundation's literacy programs through our devices that we've donated.
What would you have to say to somebody under 18 years old that wants to start something but is scared of backlash?
Ready, baby? Recording?
I'm ready.
Yeehaw!
Yeah. What's everybody fighting for? Why can't people help people? That's the question.
Oh my God, it's people helping people!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another amazing episode of People Helping People. Feels good. And I am so excited for tonight's episode. We have somebody here that has accomplished so much at such a young age, and I'm not going to waste any time. Let's bring her on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Kady McKenna.
Hello.
Hello. Third time's a charm. We're here.
Let's go. Third time.
If you could, Kady, I was just telling the audience, you are so accomplished at your age, and I just think it's really incredible everything that you have going on. So if you could just go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know what you got going on in your life.
Well, first of all, I'm Kady McKenna. Thank you so much for having me on today. I'm 17 years old, and I've been born and raised in Orlando, Florida. And I'm a high school junior, so I'm going into my senior year shortly, and then I'll be off into the real world. But I have a huge passion for the environment and then also the Miss America organization. So through the Miss America opportunity, I'm now able to represent my hometown of Orlando as Miss Orlando's teen, and really just being able to use that as a way to further my work with my nonprofit called eTreasure Incorporated that I started in the year 2015 with the primary goal of keeping electronics out of landfills. But since the COVID-19 pandemic, it's really grown to be so much more, where I've been able to focus on bridging the digital divide, giving away more than 5,000 copies of my award-winning children's book, and being able to educate people on the importance of recycling their e-waste, being featured on the Cartoon Network. And I have made a huge impact, and I'm proud of the young woman I've become, and I'm ready to do even more.
Wow. Gosh, dang. We're all slacking out here, my hat is tipped to you. That is incredible, Kady. And I feel like there's so much to unpack there because, for one, being 17 years old, I feel like you probably have such an incredible support system. When I look
Absolutely.
back at people at 17 years old, like, gosh, we were just, working as much as we possibly could to scrape together enough money to buy a meal. And it's like, but we were out running amok, we didn't really have direction and big goals. And so when I'm hearing everything that you have going on and what you've accomplished at your age, talk to me a little bit about your upbringing and your support system.
Well, my mom is honestly, I tell her all the time she's my best friend, and we kind of joke about it, but she is my best friend and definitely my biggest role model. She's the person that really got me involved with the Miss America organization. She was actually a title holder. She was Miss Virginia in 2002, so she actually competed at Miss America, which is my dream one day as well. And at when I started eTreasure, when I found my passion for recycling electronics, my mom was actually my Girl Scout leader. So we were
Nice.
learning about recycling during a meeting one day, and I had just broken an iPad, and we were learning about recycling paper, plastic, cardboard, whatnot. And I kind of said to my mom, and she was not in mom mode, but Girl Scout leader mode. And I said, okay, I just broke this. Can I recycle this too? And she's like, well, I didn't really think about that. Our old electronics kind of just sit in a junk drawer in the kitchen. So it really started from there. And I talk about my mom in the founding of my passion and what eTreasure has become today. But she's really the person who has pushed me to become the person I am, make me realize that I'm amazing. I should be able to fulfill my potential and follow through with my biggest dreams because I can achieve them.
Wow. Shout out, mama. We see you out there.
She's pretty
That's so
cool.
amazing. Yeah, absolutely. That is so cool. That is so cool that you have that, and shout out to her because it's not easy to instill that into a child, you know. And I as you're telling me that, I'm thinking about my childhood, and my mom was so stinking supportive, but I just couldn't get my head on straight. You know, I couldn't find a direction, and it brings me to the question about you finding your direction. And recycling electronics, I feel as though, is such a niche thing, and I'm curious how you came to the conclusion that that was something that was important, or for your love of the earth and spreading this to the world. How did that come about?
Tonight's episode of People Helping People Live is sponsored by Mike Silkowski. He's your local partner in getting your message in front of the right people. Mike specializes in helping businesses right here in Southern Arizona reach their ideal customers through TV and streaming services. He's not just sponsoring this chapter 3 of People Helping People, he's building partnerships, and he doesn't succeed unless you do. If you're ready to grow your business with someone who's invested in your success, call Mike at 515-305-5311. Again, that's 515-305-5311.
I go back to the Girl Scout story in this situation. I was really curious about the world at that point, and I don't know, I was learning about recycling, and that's where it started. So I decided, okay, recycling is great, so I'm going to recycle. And I recycled that first iPad that I broke, and from there it started something bigger. I started hosting collection drives at my elementary school that I attended, but then also elementary schools that were close to my home. And then I would be able to get other students involved and start collection drives at their schools, other Girl Scouts that I had met through the Girl Scouts of America organization. And through eTreasure, I started a school leaders program where kids across the country can now start drives at their school and be a part of eTreasure, but also through this, they're educated on the environment. So something big that I do to educate people about recycling electronics, because a lot of people don't know that e-waste is the fastest growing waste stream in the world. A way that I educate people in this is through my book, a children's book. I actually wrote this book when I was about 7 years old, published a few years later. And as I said earlier, I've been able to give away 5,000 copies, and that sounds like a number to a lot of people, but for me, it's being able to put a visual in the hands of people who are the leaders of today, the leaders of tomorrow, being able to make that change. It's a funny story about a cell phone getting thrown away and recycled, and I won't tell you what he turns into because you'll have to see for yourself, but it's pretty cool, and it talks about how electronics don't just have to be thrown away, because honestly, that's what they're designed to do, is to be thrown away, but they can be refurbished, they can be redistributed back into the community. And at that point, I was focusing more on recycling for the sake of keeping our environment free of e-waste. But now it still works with that story, because what we throw away can be turned into something new. Kind of my saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure, and one person's e-trash is another person's e-treasure. So that is all, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And I just continue to want to just give you huge rounds of applause. The crowd out here is going crazy because
I appreciate it.
it's, yeah, I mean, it just is really incredible. You said you wrote this children's book to help with awareness, and I kind of want to talk about like the process of recycling. So you get intrigued, you start to take in electronics for people, and start holding these drives where people are starting to recycle all of their electronics. Now, either they're refurbished or recycled, or kind of walk me through that process. And then I also want to know who you had to get in touch with to like make this come to fruition.
Yeah, so, well, I do a lot of collection drives. As I've said, we just finished up one last week for Earth Day. And honestly, I don't just receive devices through these drives. A lot of people in the community know me as the electronics girl. I get asked the question all the time, are you still doing the thing with the electronics? And I'm like, yes, 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 I'll take it all. I had a boy at school ask me today if he could give me an old phone, and I said, yeah, of course, thank you, that'd be awesome. He said, well, it's really old. I said, that's fine. You're keeping devices out of landfills. So I take these devices in, and then I make sure that I log everything, the weight, the make, what it is specifically. And depending on what it is, it goes to different organizations. So first, all of the devices are brought to a certified electronics recycler, which is an organization certified through the Environmental Protection Agency. They have to follow strict standards when it comes to environmental protection, but also data destruction. So making sure that nothing that was on a device before is going into the hands of somebody new once it's been refurbished. So
Mm.
making sure that people are educated about that really helps in them being able and wanting to donate their devices. And after they're either recycled, scrubbed of data, followed through with these standards, they can be broken down for parts and turned into something totally new. Or if they could be scrubbed up a little bit, they can be refurbished in the same state that they're in, and then they can be redistributed back into the community. Through eTreasure, we have a form that people can submit what they need, and then we will be able to donate devices to them as we are able to do so. We partnered with an organization called the Reed Charitable Foundation, which really focuses on literacy, but something that a lot of people don't understand they need to achieve literacy goals is technology. It's a super social determinant of health. So being able to provide access to technology to people in need is very important.
Absolutely. Yeah. Gosh, I can think of so many times that me being a diabetic, we go through technology like crazy. We have
Yes.
these CGMs on our arms, and these need to be tossed in the garbage after 7 to 10 days. And then we have pump supplies and all these things. And as you're talking about this, I'm thinking of all the electronics that just go into the trash over time. You know, there's a drawer just collecting dust with all these things in them, and to be able to repurpose them and either refurbish them to the kids that are in need, or completely scrap them and make new electronics is something really amazing. So yeah, again, my hat's off to you. I love. So that's what you're currently doing. How do the people get in touch with you? Let's say that they want to hand you some electronics. Is it strictly an in-person thing? Is it a Dropbox? Is it just at these drives? How do people get in touch with you?
So I told you I do a lot of these drives throughout different schools across the country. And, being the electronics girl, some people, I will come home from school and there will be an iPad on the front porch, and I'll know what it's for. So a lot of things like that, people in the community have honestly been very generous towards eTreasure and donating what they have. And through Miss America organization, this summer in my age group, there are 40 girls, and for a lot of people, in the eyes of them, that could be 40 girls to compete against. But for me, that's 40 girls to get my message across to and educate them about what I'm doing. So we just had an orientation weekend a few weeks ago, and the current state title holder actually brought me devices from her household. And she didn't even tell me that she was going to bring me anything, but she did. So getting the word out that way, I utilize social media apps, Facebook, Twitter, or X now, TikTok, Instagram as well. So having people understand what I'm doing through social media, through my book, a lot of kids bring their book home, and then mom and dad now see this at home coming out of the backpack, and they understand. They'll look at it, flip through the pages, and think, oh, this is a real thing. So I've received devices like that too. And as I said, through the Read Charitable Foundation, people can submit a need-based application for what they need. We had 2 early learning centers in downtown Orlando submit these forms, and we were able to donate devices to them so the kids in these centers could be able to have access to education online, being able to use the Read Charitable Foundation's literacy programs through our devices that we've donated to them.
Wow, that is so amazing.
Thank you.
That's so good. And I am so excited to see. There's a few things that you touched on there that I kind of want to unpack, because it is so important in life to not look at, and I say this about business all the time, to not look at everybody around you as competition. Now, I think the best person to be in competition with is yourself, to better yourself, to learn from yourself, your mistakes and your
True.
successes and failures. Like, all of that is so important. But to be at your age, again, have to tip my hat to not only yourself, but who has raised you, because for you to look at competition and understand that this can be an arms wide open, hand in hand opportunity is so special. And it is something that I feel as though, it's something that is learned over time, and it comes with wisdom. There's a lot of wisdom that's held for people that understand that this life is not feast or famine. There is enough to go around. And I love that you're on that path and doing that in such a big way. So what's the future look like for you? Like, what's Kady doing next?
This episode is sponsored by the Diabetes Network of Arizona, a community built by people living with type 1 diabetes for people living with type 1 diabetes. They host Arizona's only family camp for type 1 diabetics, giving kids and family a place to connect, learn, and feel understood. Every dollar raised stays right here in Arizona, helping local families get the care and supplies that they need. No one should ever face diabetes alone, and with your help, they don't have to. You can make a difference today by clicking the donation link in the description. The Diabetes Network of Arizona, building a stronger, healthier Arizona together. Let's get back into the episode.
So my big thing right now is, right now in the current time, I'm developing some digital literacy programs. So when I'm able to donate devices through eTreasure, I'm not just putting these devices into the hands of those that need them most, but also being able to provide them with an educational program so they can learn how to use these devices and not just have access to them. For example, a teacher that I was speaking to when I dropped off some devices of just a few weeks ago told me that they had one computer in the classroom, but a lot of kids were failing their online exams because they didn't know how to use the mouse. Not because they couldn't answer the question, but because they couldn't move the mouse in time to answer the question that was timed and proctored. So being able to educate children and adults on how to use the devices is something in the near future for eTreasure. But for me personally, of course, eTreasure is part of me, is most of me. Honestly, I spend a lot of my time furthering my work with eTreasure, but I'm going to college in a little bit over a year from now. And one of my major goals is really being able to bring eTreasure with me wherever I go to college. So being able to start a club on campus or whatever that may mean wherever I go to school, being able to get into local schools and read to them, read my book, hand out even more copies there, start collection drives here, and being able to further that impact in wherever community I end up in, because eTreasure is not just something that I need to put on my college application or start a club at school, give out some books, read to the kids. It's not like that for me. This is my passion. This is what I absolutely love to do. And sometimes my mom calls me crazy because I would rather spend my weekend recycling electronics than sometimes hanging out with friends. And I love my friends and my cheer teammates and everything. I'm a baton twirler too. I have a lot going on all at once, but my e-treasure is really where my heart lies. So wherever I go in the near future, I'm not necessarily 100% sure where I'm going to college yet. I'm starting those applications in a few months, which is crazy to me that it's real, but e-treasure will follow me wherever I go, and I'm 100% sure of that.
Yeah, and I when I look at this next generation, like, are you embraced by the other kids that are like 18 and younger in high school, and or is there a bit of what would you say the reaction is to yourself at such a young age doing what you do from your peers?
Honestly, I'm glad you asked that because up until just this past month, I was kind of losing faith in a lot of my generation. I go to a great school and I'm surrounded by kids who are motivated. A lot of people want to make a difference, but when my flyers go out or when I post a video, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, why are you doing that?" Like I get a lot of negative comments on what I do because I am so passionate about it. Sometimes I can come off as a little bit harsh. But even in elementary school, I was severely bullied in elementary school, and this was something that kind of started right then and there when I was younger and dealing with a lot of mean people. So honestly, I kept it kind of a secret beyond the collection drives. I wouldn't really talk about anything I was passionate in just because of the negativity I would be seeing from other people. But coming into high school, and it was middle school. Middle school was when people were really mean about it. I think that middle school, that age, you kind of all want to be the same. I was more focused on blending in than doing anything amazing. My mom tells me all the time when I go back to my mom, but she really has been the one who's been there the whole time. And she always tells me, like, you're so afraid to be amazing. And I used to get mad when she said stuff like that because I didn't understand, but now I get it. A few months ago, I was recognized with the Princeton Prize in Race Relations, and they invited us to Princeton University for a symposium where I was able to meet other prize winners from across the country, and they were all furthering race relations in their communities. So we were all doing very different projects, but working to achieve the same goal. And going back to the point of my generation and seeing a lot of negative commentary from them, this symposium really helped me regain hope in my generation because I was in a room surrounded by people who were doing things that they did not have to do, but they wanted to do. They wanted to help other people. As you say, people helping people. That's really what it is. And I think that if you have the opportunity to do so, you should. Not everybody thinks that. There are unfortunately a lot of selfish minded people, but I think that even those people can help people. There is something that everybody can do to make a change, make a difference. And I think that it comes with maturity. I'm 17 years old. I've always been told that I'm well beyond my years, but not everybody is mature. So I think that everybody is capable of doing something good, but maybe my generation just needs to get 10 years older.
Yeah, yeah. Well said. Well said.
Thank you.
And I can really relate to that because I remember growing up feeling as though I could not have friends in my own age group. And it broke my heart because I literally felt like I was incapable of having friends. And then I'd
Mhm.
sit down with somebody who's in their mid 40s and I'm 13 and we're having intricate conversations about self-worth and businesses and spirituality and like just real deep conversations with each other. And then I go back to reality and kids are talking about, whatever, going and skating at the skate park for the day or, just kid
I
stuff,
relate
right?
to that. I say all the time, I find it so much easier to speak to either really little kids or adults rather than speaking to people in more of my general age group given 13 to 20. It's
Mhm.
I get it. I think it
Yeah.
is honestly easier to speak to adults on from my perspective or to speak to younger children. So I relate to that
Mm.
personally.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm curious as well because you say that there was a little bit of pushback and it was hard for you at such a young age to really showcase what you were doing because of all the hatred that was around you. what advice would you have to somebody else who is maybe in the same shoes or has the same thought process where like, you know what? I want to be different. I want to step out on a limb. I feel like what I'm doing is righteous. It's noble. They have passion behind it, or maybe are considering starting something like that. What would you have to say to somebody under 18 years old that wants to start something but is scared of backlash?
People helping people. Thank you so much for being here. I just want to say I'm overwhelmed with gratitude. And we have a lot of people asking us how they can get involved and support. We came up with a way. peoplehelpingpeoplelive.com. Go there and we have subscription tiers. We have the supporter tier, the advocate tier, and the super supporter tier. You will get something in the mail from us here at People Helping People Live every single month. These were the last 2 months of Kayla Coffee Studios original pieces. You will get a print of these in the mail every single month, as well as some stickers. And if you choose the higher tiers, you'll get some merchandise and chances to win raffles. But everything's on the website. Go check it out. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube. Share if this conversation meant something to you. We love you guys. Thank you for the support.
What would you have to say to somebody under 18 years old that wants to start something but is scared of backlash?
I would give them the sentence that I never wanted to listen to myself. As he said, don't be afraid to be amazing. Something that I've really learned is that just because people are being mean about something doesn't mean that I shouldn't do what I've been called to do, what I want to do, what I'm passionate about doing. I also have found it very important for me, at least, to surround myself with like-minded people who are also wanting to make a difference, who also have passions, and who are also kind to others, but also maybe trying to push people a little bit instead of letting others walk all over you and say, oh, what you're doing is kind of weird. How is that ever going to work? You're not going to go anywhere with this. No, you can say to them, you know what? Maybe that's what you think, but this is what I'm doing. This is what I will do. This is how I am going to do it. And this is how you can get involved too. So, number one, don't be afraid to be amazing. I tell a lot of kids when I go read that you're never too young to make an impact, because I was 6 years old when I started eTreasure, and I never could have imagined that it would grow into what it has become today. But I wasn't too young to make an impact, and I'm so proud of 6-year-old me for having a passion and letting my gears shift, start something super awesome that turned into my passion that will have changed my life forever for the better. So let yourself be amazing. You're never too young to make an impact. Surround yourself by like-minded people, and humble the person who is negative by showing them that they could be positive through what you're doing.
Yes, gosh, well said. Put your hand out. That's the thing, is like, even myself with this podcast called People Helping People, we have given people cars. We have raised money for kids with type 1 diabetes to go to camps. We have given kids shoes. I mean, we've done a lot, and still get hate. Still get hate. And I always say, it's totally okay, because I think if those people would ask questions first for just a little bit of context, a little bit of understanding, then they would be not only on board but want to help as well. And we're so easily misconstrued in the world. It's very easy to do because you see it from the outside looking in. And some of the criticisms that I got, I was like, man, that's like, it didn't even hurt or sink in at all, because I'm like, if you just sat down with me for a second, you would understand, like, this is from our hearts, like, we have everybody else's best interest in mind here. And so good for you. See how you can lift people up. And if there is hatred in the world, it's okay, because no matter what, like, you're leading an incredible charge, and either they can get on the train or get left behind. And you're still going to be there for the people that get left behind too, if they ever want to jump on. It's
It's
never
true.
too
I
late.
mean, people love to see people fail, but even more people like to see people win. So I think it's important to not let a failure end you. Keep going, take the challenge and run with it. So
Mm.
I'll run with my challenges, and if somebody else wants to hop on board, they can. So
Yes. Yeah, I love it. I love it. And Kady, I think that there's something that I can relate to you on here as well. I suffered from becoming ill. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes and Crohn's disease, and I spent the better half of 2 years in and out of hospitals. I was on my deathbed multiple times, could have definitely just shut it off, ended what I had, taken my last breath essentially. But decided that I needed to be an uncle. I had a niece and a nephew, and I decided to fight through those moments to be here, to be an uncle. And thank God I did, because it's blossomed into me being able to give free diabetic supplies to families that are in need, and to have incredible people like yourself on my show, and get to know who they are and why they do what they do. But I say all of that to preface you having to go through a very serious thing at a young age that could totally derail anybody who's trying to do something in the world. And I'd like for you to kind of walk me through what had happened to you and how you made it through.
with with
Oh, with
the
your with your surgery.
with my surgery. Oh, this
Yes.
yes. Wow. Yeah, so
I'm sorry.
I
I
was
didn't
diagnosed.
preface that
No,
very
no, it's
carefully.
okay. I thought we were still talking about the negativity, but this is
Oh, I'm
yes.
sorry.
I
Yeah,
no,
no, I was
you're all
trying to build
good.
out a beautiful segue, and, so you win some, you lose some, but
Yeah, yeah, you got it. But I mean, I started Eat Treasure when I was 6 years old, but when I was 6 years old, I was also diagnosed with scoliosis.
Mm,
So I went through a series of braces. I had three different back braces. One I would sleep in, one I would have to wear to school. And honestly, let me just call myself a non compliant patient. I didn't want to wear the back brace, I was embarrassed of it. I would have to wear it every night, no matter what. Sometimes I would wake up in the middle of the night, it was uncomfortable, I took it off. But a lot of the time, I would go to a sleepover and I didn't want to wear it in front of my friends.
sure.
So I was not compliant with the bracing. Sometimes braces work for people, sometimes they don't. But I went through my 12-level spinal fusion to correct my scoliosis when I was 14 years old. So the summer going into my freshman year was one of the biggest days of my whole life. Was that one day that I had my surgery. I had never had a surgery before. I've never broken a bone before, and they had to go into my spine, break my bones, essentially put screws in there, put rods in there, and pull my spine in ways that would make it straight and sew me back together. So, not to make that too visual or anything, but it was a big surgery for me. And I spent the week in the hospital. And honestly, I'm super independent. And I'm sure you understand with your experiences in the hospital that you lose a sense of independence in the hospital, and you kind of often feel like you are relying on other people to kind of keep your medicine coming when you need it to help
Mm,
you be relieved of pain and everything. But then also, I couldn't necessarily get up and walk across the room. I had to ask somebody to hand me a blanket or hand me my phone. So I lost that sense of independence, and I honestly don't remember a lot of my experience in the hospital. I think my brain blocked it out to protect me from a lot of that experience. I'm not going to lie. But what I do remember, that it was a lot for me, and I also remember specifically the people who came to see me, show their love, those that couldn't see me, who sent me gifts in the mail, whether that be lots of chocolate covered strawberries or a blanket, a sweet candle, even just a note, a text message from people. But through my back surgery, even after recovery, my doctor told me that I would no longer be able to play volleyball, which was a big passion of mine. I started playing when I was about 11 years old, and And up until my surgery, I thought that I was going to go play at the collegiate level. I had been working towards that goal. I was about to go into my freshman year of high school, and that's really the segue to college volleyball is high school volleyball. So I was excited for that. I really wanted to play, and you know, August of my freshman year, my doctor told me, okay, I don't think this is going to be the best for you. So I chose my health over what I was passionate about. And I think that I didn't have to totally abandon volleyball. If I go to the beach, I can still play volleyball with some friends, but I had to give up kind of that dream. And I didn't let it beat me down, I let it bring me up. I have more time to dedicate to my title in the Miss America organization. I've been able to hold 3 amazing local titles, being able to work towards my ultimate goal of becoming Miss Florida's teen, hopefully one day Miss America's teen, focusing more on e-treasure, even letting myself relax a little bit over the summer, be a big sister. I'm the oldest of 4 children. I have 3 younger siblings. So I let my surgery turn my dreams into something different, which was a shock at the time, honestly. And I'm saying that I make it seem positive looking back now, but in the moment I felt like, okay, this is end all be all. What am I going to do with my life? I have no clue what the next chapter holds. So letting your life experiences turn into something different is okay sometimes. I do believe that everything happens for a reason. So I overcame that challenge for myself, and now what my life has turned into is amazing, and I'm thankful for that shift.
I love it. I love it. It's so good. I just understand exactly what you're saying. I feel as though you have the option to either wallow in the things that can destroy you or look at them as an opportunity. And if people understood the fact that chance, that moment can be one of those two things, it's so much better. It's so much easier when you take a step back and say, okay, what is this trying to teach me? And I feel like you have a great grasp on that. And I'm just proud that you at your age, and you're giving me some faith here. You're giving me some faith in the
I'm
next
glad.
generation. And for you to be leading the charge the way that you are, to be as well spoken as you are, to have written a book,
Thank you.
have endured some injuries, and be the light that you want to see in the world is just so stinking commendable. I want to just give you one of those.
Thank you.
Well, Katie, this has been an incredible conversation, and I want to know before we let you go, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about? Is there something that we haven't dove into that you'd like to discuss with the people here?
Mm. Is there anything that you think I can do to help more people help people? And how do you think I should do that?
Sure. Yeah, that's a really good question. Well, I think that starts with looking at your current operation, right? And for you to ask that question is the right answer. Keep asking questions, right? Um, for one, I think that you have a team behind you with your mother being there. She reached out and said, you know what? I think that my daughter Katie would be perfect for your podcast. And the more you speak about the good in that you're doing in the world, um, and continuing to put your actions behind those words, the more impact that you're going to make. So that consistency right there is just, I mean, those are the seeds that you plant now, and you will not be able to see anything. Those roots are going to grow, and they're going to grow, and they're going to grow, and you continue to water until one day you'll see everything clearly and realize that there's a beautiful flower blossoming from all that hard work that you've been doing and all that watering. Um, I feel as though spreading your impact right now, what you're doing, sitting on podcasts, is one of the best things that you can possibly do. So get on that Facebook page, start reaching out to people, sit down with them. And if there's anything that I can do for you, if there's any type of promotion, if there's any type of sponsorships or whatever, like, you let me know, because I want to send people your way. I want to help make an impact. Like, you are officially a part of the People Helping People community. If I
Thank you.
have something, that you need, let me know, and it's yours. And if I don't have it, I know somebody that does. Right? So you are officially intertwined in our community here. And yeah, I guess my question would be, is there anything off the top of your head that you need from us?
The connection, the friendship. So thank you. It's an honor to be a part of this family. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, before we let you go, Kady, I'm so honored to have you here, honored to have had this episode with you, and you're helping me to kick off chapter 5 in a beautiful way. So let's go ahead and let the people know where they can find you one more time here.
So you can connect with me on my website at etreasure.us, or my Instagram is also eTreasure Incorporated or Kady McKenna, and it's Kady, Kady. So you can find me all over various YouTube videos. You can watch my TEDx talk if you have any more questions. Also, Cartoon Network, the video posted on YouTube as well. Kady McKenna, Cartoon Network, Climate Champion. For a little bit shorter version, look at that too.
Awesome. Awesome. Beautiful. Well, I will put all your links in the description. If you could just send me an email. I believe that I have all your links there. I'll have to double check, but we will have all of Kady McKenna's links down below. So be sure to check her out. Be sure to show some love. And if you have anything for Kady that may help her in her endeavors here to reach more people and make a bigger impact, be sure to reach out and, just show some love. Thank you again, Kady, so much for being here. And we look forward to having you back in the future.
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll talk with you soon. Yeehaw, feels good. What an incredible way to close out chapter 5. Or I'm sorry, to open up chapter 5. I'm already getting lost in the sauce. What chapter are we on? Where are we at? But I am so excited to have this new chapter with new incredible people and, reminiscing. I know I'm going to think about this conversation for a while. And I just have to tip my hat to Kady McKenna. I have to tip my hat to her family. And this is just an incredible story of perseverance, an incredible story of being the amazing that you want to see in the world. And don't be scared to be amazing, right? And the proof is in the pudding. Somebody at 17 years old is wearing so many different hats and is really looking to make a difference, to be a person who is people helping people. And that's why I get excited to do what I do, to make these connections and have these conversations and enlighten you guys with the incredible people that are in the world. Gosh dang. What an episode. Thank you, Kady, and to you and your team and family. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Welcome to our family here at People Helping People. And if you are somebody wants to get involved with People Helping People, hit us up on Instagram, instagram.com/@People Helping People Live. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. We love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode, and we will see you every Tuesday and every other Friday. All right, y'all. We'll talk to you later. Deuces.
Yeah. What's everybody fighting for? Why can't people help people? That's the question.